persistent on me getting the epidural.
Just playing.
Yeah.
When you nurse, you have to stay hydrated.
When you talk a lot, you need to stay hydrated.
When you talk a lot and you nurse, you need to stay hydrated.
Definitely. Yeah, so the OB was persistent on me getting the epidural, and then when I asked and inquired about alternative ways to do the glucose test, because I was aware of the alternative ways, I just wasn't well researched or versed in it. I felt like up until this point they had my best interest at heart, so that was something that I could bring up as my medical professionals during my pregnancy and say, hey, I've heard of these different ways of testing my blood sugar where I don't have to drink this sugary drink, because this isn't how I eat on a day-to-day basis. Like, I'm not going and just downing a bottle of soda in one setting, like in a 5-minute window. I think that's what they give you to drink it, and it has to be cold and you have to fast. It's just, that's not my normal life. So it's like, why would I put my body and my baby into shock? Why would I introduce this amount of sugar into my baby's bloodstream? What's going on?
You ready to go to sleep?
Hey, mama. Hey, mama. I know.
So when they brought up the idea of having options for the blood sugar, it was met with extreme kind of like a disdain, if you will. It was like, how do you know about this? And she couldn't deny it. There was the nurse actually. She couldn't deny it, but she was very, what you need, sweetie?
Burp cloth.
She was very
a nurse. I feel like it's appropriate for me to nurse during this episode.
She was taken aback, and so we're people that kind of watch people's responses, and so we didn't really communicate anything about what was going on at the time, but we were like, we went ahead and took the glucose, and we both kind of looked at each other, and that's when we decided we were going to shift.
Yep. So and the support was always there from mom. And we shifted and we pivoted, and my pivot was to a midwife, which is something that I had teetered with, and in my wildest, okay, all right, you're here, we hear you, and you're ready to eat and go to sleep. Here,
so we got to the car, we both looked at each other, and we have been doing research on midwives anyway. The biggest thing with the midwives that we wanted to make sure of, because of how intimate having a baby is and the people that you need to be with, is our biggest requirement is that they had to be a Christian. Like, they had to believe in God, they had to believe that, Jesus is a savior, he rose, they had to believe the way we believe, because the people that looked like us didn't necessarily have the same religious or spiritual thought process that we did. So we
at least the people that I had found. So
right,
once I got home from the OB appointment, I immediately started doing research on midwives here in the Kansas City area, like serious research. It wasn't something that I had taken serious in the beginning, because there again, faith being tested. I was like, I don't have out of pocket money to pay for a midwife. Like, I'm gonna go where insurance is paying for it, because that's what makes the most sense. Just being super logical about it, not necessarily just stepping out on faith and saying, okay, this is what I want. These are the desires in my heart, and I know God is going to give me the desires in my heart, because He's a good dad like that. So. Yeah, like she said, I went on my quest and started looking for midwives. I could not find one that particularly looked like me. Anyone that knows me knows that I love supporting people that look like me, just because it's not everywhere. That support isn't everywhere. It isn't. it's just getting popular, and I've probably been doing it since I was in college for sure.
Yeah, we were adamant about our dollar turnover in our community a few times.
Girl, is it good? You scratching me?
So we found a midwife. We set up an appointment. We had a phone or the open house.
Yeah, so I found a midwife, found her on Instagram because I scoured back into Instagram hashtags. That's a tip. If you ever need to find a service, hashtags. Use the hashtags city and then whatever service you're looking for. That's how I found my midwife. She was actually no longer practicing as a private midwife. She was practicing at a center.
Mm-hmm.
And that's where I was able to find her. We had an open house where it was more informational, more questions if I had any, just kind of giving an overview of what to expect from a midwife. Girl, you scratched your face and I hate it. It's okay though. It's life. And then we started from there. At this point, I am 27 weeks, 26 and a half. I was somewhere between 26 and 27 weeks. Either way, I had to make the decision, and I had to make the decision quick because they stopped accepting pregnant women at 28 weeks.
Yep.
So I had basically no time to make that decision. I just had to make it and step out on faith and say, hey, this is what we're going with for the last part of my pregnancy, and this is what it is. So decided to have a midwife, and we were going to have a home birth.
Mm-hmm.
And from there, we were off to the races. It just was a kind of a whirlwind that last trimester was, of getting ready and getting everything prepared, which I don't think was any different from anyone else's experience that probably had a home birth. But being that most people start at 12 weeks versus 28 weeks, I'm just gonna raise my shirt up, huh? I started at 28 weeks and straight into alfalfa, which is something that the midwife suggested, that I take alfalfa powder in the form of a smoothie or add it to a drink every day, two teaspoons every single day, starting at 28 weeks through postpartum. Really, I still was supposed to be taking it. I was off and on, to tell the truth. I was off and on taking it after she came, but the benefit of it was so great at the end of it, being on this side of it. The reason that the alfalfa was highly suggested, is for hemorrhaging. So that was green flag, so to speak, pun intended, because alfalfa, while it is not, and just keeping it very real, it's disgusting. It tastes like dirt. But the benefit of it in not hemorrhaging, not having a lot of postpartum bleeding, if you are pregnant, I highly suggest it. Started with that. I'm not sure if on the dietary side, because I was eating, we ate well, we ate good, and I'm not a big meat eater, but your girl was craving beef on a regular basis. Like, I wanted a beef on bun probably weekly.
And you know why?
It was one of the magnesium?
It was protein.
Protein.
The protein drains the sugar. And that's why she said she wanted you to have a certain amount of protein every day.
Gotcha.
And she wanted you to have that protein natural. And I was pushing protein shakes because I was just like, get protein in you any kind of way to balance the sugar. And they were like, well, no, we don't really want you to do powder protein. We prefer you. So it was all God that's what you were craving. And that's why I didn't have, anytime you wanted anything that had to do with meat, I was all there for it. You know, I was like, I just try to keep you away from carbs, keep you away from all that bread.
I wanted bread. A peanut butter and jelly sandwich.
No, Matinnae wanted bread.
Have a sandwich with my. Can I get some bread with my sandwich?
She wanted bread with her bread. Can I have a bread sandwich? She wanted bread with everything.
Me and peanut butter and jelly sandwiches got close during this break,
and I was not impressed at all.
But towards the end, we did find a keto bread,
right?
Which is a good alternative.
It was.
If you can afford it, just get the keto bread. Even if you can't, figure it out. God will provide the resources if those are the desires of your heart, and because He wants what's best for all of us, not just me. Now, I am His favorite, so I know He wants what's best for me, but He wants what's best for you too.
And watch this.
There's alternatives.
The whole time I watch you through your pregnancy, I watch you toil with the financial responsibility of it. I watch you toil with the financial responsibility of rearing the children, doing it by yourself, and this and that and the other. And while I was not impressed with the generational thing that we saw, I also knew that God was able. And I knew He was able because He did it for me. So when that was my constant prayer. My constant prayer was, God, show her who she is in you and show her the favor that is on her life, because I've witnessed the favor on your life. Like when you were younger, I wouldn't even, if there was a raffle or pick your name out of a hat, I always had you fill it out, because anything she filled out, her name was coming out of the container. Literally went to, while you were pregnant, to play bingo. I'm a win. And sure enough, the girl had actually won without even knowing she won 2 songs prior to the bingo being over. And so when we got there, what blessed me about the midwife and them being pregnant is we saw the older midwife. Because in centers, just like the hospitals, they have several midwives, and then they're training other midwives under them. So you have anywhere from 1 to 3 persons in the room with you at a time. Mm-hmm. But the older midwife, the person who it actually the business belonged to,
own the practice.
Yeah, to own the practice. She listened to the baby's heartbeat, and I could see her just a worship came into the room where we were listening to my grandbaby's heartbeat, and Matinnae had just a spirit of calm over her, and it was such a beautiful moment. But what she said, which was my prayer throughout the whole thing, was, she said, "Do you know what's the person's name? I don't even know the person's name to sing." So whoever sings Jireh, "You Are More Than Enough," Jireh.
Naomi
Rain. I don't know.
I think that's her name.
So whoever it was, the midwife asked if we knew her, and of course I did not. But then she said to Matinnae, she goes, "You need to know that God will provide for you, that He is your provider, and everything you need He will provide." And when I tell y'all, I could have just had a whole worship moment right then, but I knew if I did, I was going to melt and slide on down to the ground, and they was going to have to scoop me up and put me in the car and shovel me to work. Because that was my prayer. And for God to use somebody that was that close to the process, yet that far away, who we'd never met, to confirm my heart's desire and prayer and what I saw from Matinnae the whole time, it was just a blessing. And then they gave us great information. Mm-hmm. For me personally, they thought I was over the edge. They thought so my level of faith is just very childlike. And so they would say stuff, and I would come against it. They would be like, "Well, we don't want to have people around that is going to do this and that." No, baby, we got this. We don't have to worry about anybody not. Or they would say, I don't know. They would say stuff that...
It was very matter of fact.
Yeah, they would say stuff based on their experience.
Yeah.
And it was good stuff for somebody, just not Matinnae. They would be like, "Well, first time moms usually don't deliver within such and such.
One of the requirements was to have a doula,
right?
Which the midwife fee was $5,000, and when I got the bill, it's actually closer to $9,000. I don't know where that $3,000 buffer came in, where it was $3,000 off, but the actual bill says 8 point something thousand. Mm-hmm. I don't know where $8,000 is coming from. I don't know where $5,000 is coming from. But to ask someone to pay for a midwife, pay for a midwife and pay for a doula on top of that, and I'm already 7 months pregnant, and I've already gone to all of these other appointments. I've already had all the lab work done. Like, at this point, I'm just in the home stretch. I just need, listen, coach, I just need you to tell me what to do to get through the home stretch, get through this third and fourth quarter, and let us be on about our business. So that was one of those things where it's like, well, you need a midwife. Okay, well, I mean, you need a doula.
And every time they said you need a doula, I was like, God got it. She got a doula. I'm probably gonna be the best doula that she would ever have.
And was.
And I just started researching stuff
Was.
and looking at stuff and studying and finding out what doula does. And I was like, doula don't do nothing but the same thing the Lamaze coach does.
Yeah.
It's the same. And I don't mean to minimize. Please hear my heart. I don't mean to minimize the experiences that doula has, but nobody knows my child better than I do.
Right.
And even when we got to the point where they said, they gave us this 4-1-1 thing, 1 minute apart for 1 hour.
It was 4 minutes apart.
4 minutes apart.
Contractions 4 minutes apart.
1 minute.
For 1 minute.
For 1 hour.
1 hour.
That was and I looked at them and I said, listen, I delivered fast. I delivered her in 22 hours. I delivered her in 2 hours. And her brother in 45 minutes. I said, and if she's anything like her mom, which I have seen over the years, that we're very similar. It comes off different, but we the things that we raise our eyebrows up about are the same things. And so with that being said, she had active labor.
Wait, we're not there yet.
Oh.
We're not there yet. Hold on, where we at?
7 months. Making a decision.
Oh, it's 7 months. Yeah, making a decision. One of the other things that I wanted to mention throughout my pregnancy, where mom, she I don't know many moms like my mom, so I'm just super grateful for her. But she was super supportive when it came to me having prenatal massages, and making sure that I maintained my nail appointment. Those are the only two sources of extracurricular self-care. Because if you know me, you know I'm getting my self-care every month. When you talk about those women fees and how much it costs to be a woman, I'm doing all of that. And that was one of those things that was hard for me to go through pregnancy and not be able to do the things on a monthly basis for myself that I'm used to. I was used to getting a massage basically whenever I wanted to. Sometimes I was getting them twice a month. Sometimes if I needed it more because I was working out 6 days a week, I'd just go get a massage. It wasn't that big of a deal. But God definitely made provision, and I don't know if he spoke to you or just that's you as a parent, you as my mom, you watching me go through pregnancies, 1252. But I was able to have massages, prenatal massages from Clear Rose Healing. Thank you, Clara, who prayed over me and they were the most anointed hands that could have been touching me through my pregnancy. I was able to have those prenatal massages where she came to the house and did my prenatal massage and prayed over me and baby and I throughout the second half of my pregnancy, and that was amazing. It honestly, it really was amazing. And then there was a point where Mom, you reminded me and pointed out how God had scaled back my finances in a way where everyone wasn't able to touch me through my pregnancy. So, and that's so real. That is so real, where everybody doesn't need to be touching you because you just don't know. You don't know what doors people have opened. You don't know everything about everybody's life. And being pregnant is very sacred. Bringing life into this world is very sacred. Having a relationship with God is very sacred. And those are all things that I hold close to me in terms of an experience. So being able to walk through that and be at peace, that's part of the reason why I didn't announce that I was even pregnant outside of my little jokey joke where I said I was gonna pop up pregnant in October 2021. Watch what you say. Watch what you speak into existence, unless you really want that. Speak the things that you really want into existence, because they will happen. I said I was gonna pop up pregnant and pop up with a husband, and that has happened. So yeah, those are a few of the things, and then it was time to.
You had to have beetroot too.
Oh yeah, the beetroot powder. So once my glucose test came back, so we're at 7 months still. So alfalfa started. Once my glucose test came back, my iron levels were low. So the midwife expressed that beetroot powder would help with my iron levels and maintaining my iron levels, so that I was producing the blood that I needed to produce. And then the alfalfa was so that I did not hemorrhage and bleed for 8 full weeks after having my child. So that pretty much took me into 3rd trimester, and then we will tell the birthing story in our next episode. Yeah.
Yes.
So stay tuned.
Mm-hmm.
She's asleep. She is little Miss Malika is now asleep. Yeah. So we will tell the birthing story on how she got here. Maybe we'll start with month 9, and we'll go from the month 9 to her getting here in our next episode. So stay tuned. Like, comment, subscribe, send to a friend, send to your mama, send to your grandma, send to your daughter, send to whoever you think will benefit from just hearing our stories, our interactions, and how we are walking through this planet. Yeah. All right. Thanks for watching.
See you guys next time.
Keep kicking.